The following takes place on Monday night in 6 minutes and 16 seconds. Hello. I was going with the whole 24 motif today, so I thought I would jump in the bathtub, something different. But I'm going to be reviewing Season 3, Episode 3 of Kyle XY. And I'm back. I don't know where I went, but I'm back. So, this episode of Kyle XY is all about Jesse moving in with the Traegers and the awkwardness of that, and about Amanda and Kyle and their relationship, and how Kyle finds out what Latnock put in her head and tries to get rid of it. So, let's start with the basic recap. Jesse moves in with the Traegers, and it's really awkward. It's kind of like back when Kyle moved in with them in Season 1. If you remember those days, back in the day. And it's just really awkward. Everyone's kind of getting annoyed with her nosiness and her just kind of being there. And Kyle even says to Josh, she's like, remember when I took that test for you and I told Steven, you were mad at me too, but you got over it. And that was a nice little throwback to Season 1. I like it when shows remember where they came from and have facts from previous seasons. So that was nice. Kyle's playing basketball in the park with Declan, and he sees the dude from Latnock, who introduces himself as Michael Cassidy. But Kyle still's like, talk to the hand, dude. I don't have anything to do with you. So, yeah. And he goes back to him later and questions him about what exactly they put in Amanda's head. Because Kyle makes a brain scanner with, well, I don't know if Jesse helps. She doesn't. But she goes along with him to Amanda's piano recital rehearsal. Because Amanda's having problems remembering her entire routine for piano. So he goes there, and he goes and puts the transmitter under the piano to the transmitter. Hello? No, not a transmitter. The device, whatever you call it. I'm not a science kid, so whatever. The device the brain scanner to scan her brain. And meanwhile, Josh has to cause a distraction, and it's so funny because he's like, hello? Are you a person of authority? You, come with me right now. It's really cute. I love Josh being funny like that because I just love Josh, so that was nice. He scans her brain, and he finds out there's something in there. So when he questions Michael, he goes, what did you put in there? And he's like, it's just something so Amanda wouldn't remember what happened after prom. It should have deteriorated by now. I don't know if that's truth or lie. I don't know. And Kyle's like, well, it didn't, so I'm going to have to fix it. And Kyle walks off, and Michael's like, don't do anything. Don't try anything, Kyle, because you could hurt somebody. But Kyle's like, dude, well, he doesn't say this, but I'll say it for him. I am Kyle XY. Do not mess with me. So that's my inner Kyle XY speaking. He didn't really say that. But, so Kyle thinks that he can shock whatever they put in Amanda out of her brain with like an electrical current. So he holds something electrical, and you see like the static on his hands or the electricity, which is a really cool effect. But he doesn't know how much to use without over-shocking Amanda. So Jesse goes, why don't you do it while you're kissing her? She'd never notice. And he's like, but who would I have to practice on? And she's like, me. And of course, Jesse is weaseling her way in, but whatever. There's a really awkward, funny scene where Kyle is trying to kiss Jesse. And he's like, I've never kissed you before. And she's like, you've seen me naked. Because in the beginning of the episode, he opened the shower, or she opened the shower, and she was like naked in there, and he saw her. So that was kind of funny. So he finally just kind of kisses her, and it throws her back into a wall, and it's kind of funny. Again, it's awkward, but they start kissing to practice the charge, and who walks in? Amanda. And she's like, oh no, and she walks away, and she's crying, and so Kyle sneaks into her rehearsal, and she's crying, and she's like, it doesn't hurt me as much that you get to kiss, but that you don't realize what's happening. And if any of you guys are Gilmore Girl fans, that's what it kind of reminds me of Jess, Rory, and Dean, when Rory and Jess started to fall for each other, and Dean saw it, and everybody else saw it except for Rory. So that's what it kind of reminds me of. So he tells her, he's like, if you really trust me, just let me do this one last thing for you. And he starts building up the electricity. I'm not sure if Amanda can see it or not, but he kisses her and shocks out of her head. Kind of like, if any of you are familiar with Mission Impossible 3, it's kind of something like that. Like, you know, you got to shock it. Not to that extent, though. That was graphic. This isn't. It was very nice. You know, I just thought I'd throw that reference out there. Yeah. And Lori and Mark broke up, by the way, because the dude from Latnock, Michael, said they really couldn't be together. So that was the episode. Amanda and Kyle broke up, but Jessie is kind of sad about it, but she's still weaseling her way in. And I just don't love the idea of them in the same house together. I feel like that was Kyle's house first, and she even moved into Kyle's room. Kyle moved upstairs with Josh. So, I don't know, but we'll see what happens if Kyle and Jesse are going to get closer. I'm a Kyle Amanda fan, and I know I'm going to get comments about that. Kyle and Jesse forever. Like, that's great, guys. I just don't think Kyle wants it yet. When he wants to be with Jesse, I'll let it go, and you guys would totally be right. But right now, he doesn't. So you got to let him and Amanda do their thing, even though they're broken up, so I guess they can't. So yeah, that's the episode. Next week looks really funny. I guess Kyle goes with Declan to a bar to, like, get over Amanda, and he's rapping. He's like, I am Kyle XY, and then, like, shows his no belly button. And it reminds me of the pilot when he's like, yo, juice me. That's what it kind of reminded me of. So that is the episode for the 12th time I can say it tonight. And yeah, so please, please, please subscribe, please. And I put on my YouTube channel some shows that I watch, shows that I used to watch, stuff like that, under the About Me section, so you guys can get a little bit more familiar with me. If there are any shows you'd like me to recap, let me know. I'll do my best. But I'm really pressed for time. Kyle XY ends at 8 o'clock at night for me. And next week I'm going to start doing Heroes recaps. And those shows, Kyle XY and Heroes, are always an hour away from each other. An hour apart, I mean. But I'll always do my Kyle XY videos because I love Kyle XY. But yeah, so please, please, please subscribe, and I will see you guys next week. Countdown.